think, but now living in Canada. His name is Namshar. And his opponent, the great American Hope in the red. Sponsored by Ting Esports, his name is Neeb. Yes, boys and girls, Neeb and Namshar, two of the hottest players in Group C, and I don't just mean how attractive they both are. I also mean these players are phenomenal. Both of them on a bit of a hot streak right now. Namshar, of course, one of the players who's a bit older, a bit not necessarily 100% vested in his pro gaming anymore. I know Namshar does some other stuff on the side now. He's got like a big boy job and stuff. Not practicing quite as hard as some of the other players in this tournament might be. Of course, obviously, he's going to be practicing for DreamHack and putting in a couple extra hours, but not like a full-time StarCraft pro as much as I think Neeb probably is. So the fact that Namshar is currently at the 3-0 record in the group speaks very highly to his mechanics, his overall skill, and his stick-to-itiveness here in this DreamHack EU, or pardon me, DreamHack NA series. Neeb, of course, full-timer, hard worker, previously in the, famously, one of the foreigners to get to the round of 4 in the GSL. He did that in either 18 or 19. I can't remember. I was there. I saw it happening. I was losing my mind watching him get that far. So obviously not a pushover here. Neeb actually, like we said, currently at 2-1 in the series. Neeb actually dropped a series to TLO. TLO, the Zerg player, able to get one up on Neeb here. So I don't know if that speaks to how Neeb is feeling in TVZ right now, or PVZ right now, or if it just means that TLO is a crafty player and was able to snipe him down a little bit. Either way, should be a great series. I'm really excited to see how these guys do it. Neeb opening up with a Stargate in his main base. This, of course, will be spotted by Namshar. I think these Lings going to get into the main. Oh, they aren't. A last-second block of that gateway, and of course, no way for these Lings to get in. They're going to get a little bit of pressure here. We'll get one probe, but oh my god, is he going to get up in the... Oh no, get sniped down. There we go. Whew, I thought he was a lot closer than that. Not the case. Luckily, does not see that Stargate, but the Overlord will get in, and with no Stalker here to drive him away, this Sloverlord, which is a portmanteau of Slow and Overlord, in case you were wondering where that came from, it's going to get in. He will eventually spot the Void Ray. Of course, the Void Ray going to be queued straight to the Overlord to say, oh yeah, no, you want in? I'll let you in. Come on, buddy. Come see what I got. I love the Void Ray first opener from these Protoss players. Helps you clear the Overlords, helps you get a lot of map control, and really helps you ascertain and maintain a strong position in the early game, control the map a little bit, and of course you can follow up with a second Void Ray. You can go into Mass Stargate, get your fleet bacon down, get a ton of damage done if you want, or you can be a little more conservative and do what Neeb's doing here, which is Oracle next, then get across the map and try and harass a little bit. Spore, down at the main. Spore, going to be finishing up with the natural soon. Spore at the third. Of course, this third base was the second base that was actually placed during the game. Namshar's natural only just now finishing up here. So Namshar still in good shape economically this game, but the economic aggression is about to come from Neeb, the first Oracle out, and we'll see if Neeb builds anything else out of that Stargate, or if he transitions from Stargate play into something else. And whoa, Nelly, what did we talk about earlier in the game? Very realistic follow-up these days to the Stargate opener is a second Stargate and a Fleet Bacon. So chat, get those griddles out, because the Fleet Bacon is a sizzling here in the main base of Neeb. That's right, we should see, I expect, Mass Void Ray out from Neeb now. It's very possible he can go Phoenix as well and get the Anion Pulse Crystals upgrade, but slightly less common, especially in a PvC. Behind us, Roach Warren for Namshar. He's grabbing gases 2 and 3 at his natural, no 4th gas. Now, if you're wondering about Zerg build orders a little bit, let me drop some game knowledge on you here. The Zerg player on 3 bases is generally looking to either go Roach Speed or Spire. If you see a player take 3 gases immediately, it's likely that Roach Speed is going to be the case. If you then see them subsequently grab a 4th gas, Spire is on the table. Now, this was a late 4th gas from Namshar, but he should still be able to get the Spire up in time. It depends on if he sees more of these units coming out from Neeb. Now, I had a bit of a bad call earlier. I thought Neeb was going to go for the Mass Void Ray, which is a very common strategy. Instead, he's going to do what we saw 2 or 3 games ago, which is straight into carriers. We're going to see 2 carriers, maybe 4 on the map for the initial harassment. And if Namshar is not prepared for these at all, as it looks like he's not, could be in some real trouble, guys. No Spire for Namshar. We saw since that 4th gas was so late, there's no Spire available. Oh, so smart. Little stasis ward hidden behind these overlords. Unless you're really looking for it, you're not going to spot it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drones going to get caught out. And 2 of the drones, by the way, on gas going to get stopped here. Namshar needs plenty of gas if he's going for +1 roaches, and he's simply not going to have enough gas if those the speed roaches continue getting cranked out. So that's a great slowdown there from Neeb. Anyway, we saw this in the previous game. Neeb's going to come across them. Not the previous game, sorry, a previous series. It was, who did we have? Estrella Pattymac? No, Nina Vindicta. Nina did this, right? With the 2 carriers into 4 carriers, and that's it. 4 carrier harass. It's so common when you have the first carriers out, and it allows you to get up to a number of carriers that's a little bit terrifying, but doesn't overcommit you and put you all in on that carrier count. So Neeb showing 1 carrier, but 4 queens already here. Namshar rotating around really well, and already we see that, yeah, he had that Hydralisk den, but wasn't ready to commit to Hydras yet, but immediately, as soon as the carriers hit the ground, 10 Hydras start up right away, Grooved Spine start up right away, and Namshar gonna go pretty hardcore on those Hydras. Nice queen movements here, good transfuses from Namshar, saving everything he can, even a drone getting put onto the extractor to be saved. And the good news is, this is a very low impact attack from Neeb. He can always just recall these carriers back out, the interceptors can get what they can get, and once the interceptor count is down to almost nothing, he can just escape and recall if needs be. Looks like he's going to find a nice little spot here to rebuild some interceptors and then bring those carriers back in a little bit later. The follow-up from Neeb going to be 6 gates behind this. 6 gates getting added on to the 2 already, and of course 8 gates, the normal number of gates you'd want from a Protoss player on 3 bases. Now here's the bad news. These 6 gates are a little bit later than he might have liked, and of course Namshar has a pretty decently sized ground army right now. 5 roaches, 20 Hydras down already. Yeah, these poor interceptors just not going to get anything done. Speed roaches, Grooved Spine Hydralisks. The Hydralisks don't have their speed upgrade yet, but that should be coming quite quickly, I hope. And +2 missile attack already on the way from Namshar. He's got a very coherent, very cohesive army about to push across the map here. 4th base established. 5th base should be not too far behind this. I love this. Namshar waiting, trying to catch these 2 carriers in a bit of a trap here. He's got Hydras on the north side, Hydras on the south side. He's got those carriers pinned for now. Of course, Protoss players can, what's the word? Recall, I think is what it's called, back home, so can be a really nice play if Neeb gets those back home, but no additional carriers coming out from Neeb right now. He's seen the number of Hydralisks, and it looks like he is good to continue with no more carrier play. He's just going to stick on the Warp Prism. He's going to get Storm, and he's going to start finishing up his +1. Should go to +2 pretty quickly to get a ground army to contend with all these Hydralisks. Now, Hydralisks don't do particularly well against Storm. They don't do particularly well against Charge Lots, which are finished up, and they don't do particularly well against Archons, which could be on the way. The Immortals are going to tear through them as well, so actually, this could be a really nice counter from Namshar, or from Neeb rather, forcing Namshar into the Hydralisk play because of the early carriers, and then putting out a lot of units that counter Hydralisks behind this. So I'm not sure if this is a forced error out of Namshar, but could be really, really nice from Neeb. Oh god, the Warp Prism gets picked off immediately though. Bit sloppy there from Neeb, who's going for some pressure, and Namshar setting up for some dual prong pressure. Pressure down here at the 6 o'clock base, and also some pressure at the 4th base here. Looks like the Stasis Ward did finish off a couple of links there. That's going to slow down Namshar's push, but as soon as the army rotates down, this is a slow-moving Protoss army from Neeb, and Namshar's going to get in here. 10, 11 probe kills. The first storm's raining down, and Namshar will be forced back here. The Nexus stays alive, but the pressure continues at the inside 4 o'clock base as well. The carrier not getting focus fire down, but no interceptors are there. That carrier is dead weight right now. 4, count them, 4 shield batteries are down, and that's going to keep Neeb alive for just a little while longer. The Immortal being bolstered as though he's a Lich, being bolstered undead by a cleric, an evil cleric, and he's going to drive away those Hydras at the top side. But 21, count them, 21 probes have gone down. 22, 23. That's a Michael Jordan's worth of probes that have already gone down here. These carriers are feckless. They're empty gas bags sitting in the air. Neeb's got nothing. Neeb's got nothing. Neeb's got nothing. And Namshar's got the GG. Namshar grabs game number 1 in a very unusual opener from Neeb. Now, don't freak out. Neeb is not doing something so weird. You're like, what is Neeb doing? He's learning from Haas. He's learning from Goblin. What's happening? Don't freak out. The 2 carrier opening is actually pretty common. Not common, but it's not completely unheard of. Again, we saw it earlier today with Nina, I believe, unless I'm getting that game wrong. Sorry, I've done This is my 10th series of the day, and they just start to mush together. I couldn't tell you who won any of the series if you quizzed me today. I think we saw Nina doing it earlier today. It's starting to seep into the NA scene just a little bit, and it can be really strong. If you're able to hide those carriers for a while, usually you want to move them out on the into the bottom side, or the bottom side of or the top side of the map. Get them across the map immediately, and you can pick off a ton of drones. If the queens aren't there, they can do a ton of damage and really cripple your opponent for what it's a big investment, but it can do a lot of damage. That game, though, Neeb's carriers were rejected by Namshar's queens. They pushed him away right away. The carriers were unable to find continued damage. He wasted a lot of minerals rebuilding interceptors that were just gunned down by the Hydras that were up on the north side and the south side. And really a really well played game by Namshar. Namshar then followed up, of course, with the dual pronged pressure, one at the 6 o'clock, one at the inside 7 o'clock as well. And with the dual prong pressure, able to take out 21 probes, 23 probes, and that's all she wrote. So Namshar, the surprise on fire player, going up to a 1-0 lead right now in the series. Namshar and Neeb are going to play game number 2 on Romanticide LE. Namshar looking to clean this up with a clean 2-0 win. And again, if Namshar wins, it would rocket him up to a 4-0 record and drop Neeb down to a 2-2. This could be a huge match for both of these players. Namshar, again, a surprise, I think, in this tournament. I don't want to downplay how good Namshar is, because I feel like anytime I'm like, oh, he's doing surprisingly well, I feel like that leads people to think like, oh, he's not the best player. He's just here because he's lucky. Oh, maybe get some good play. No, that's not true. But I think it is fair to say that Neeb is the favorite in this series, and the favorite maybe even to take the entire group. And the fact that Namshar has done an amazing job, currently sitting at 3-0, looking at 4-0, potentially if he wins this game, is just a testament to how good of a player he is and to how high the bar is to qualify for these players. Just insanely good. We're hopping in now. Romanticide LE. Our players should be ready to go. And the game's starting. The countdown has begun. You can hear that ticking in your head. Oh, my earphones aren't even on, and I can hear it in my head. Just counting down. Oh, yes, I love it. We're going into game number 2 here. Namshar leading 1-0. All right. So, I love Romanticide, by the way. This map created by the mapmaker Maris, who is a phenomenal StarCraft 2 mapmaker. She currently has 3 maps in the pool. That's how just dang good she is. And this is an amazing map. It looks good, it plays good, it feels good, and as Duke Ellington once said, if it sounds good, it is good. Let's hop into Romanticide for game number 2. Spawning in the top left-hand side of Romanticide LE. It's our red Pro Toss player representing Ting Esports and America. His name is Neeb. And his opponent in the bottom right-hand side in the blue, representing Storm Gaming and Canada, it is Namshar. Now, some of you may be wondering, wait a minute, isn't Namshar Swedish? Why is he playing in the North America? Shouldn't he be over on the EU? Oh, God, I went to the wrong screen. I'm so sorry, guys. There we go. That's it. Some of you are wondering, isn't Namshar Swedish? What is he doing in the North America scene? He doesn't belong here. Get out of here. Namshar lives in Canada now, has permanent residency in Canada, which does qualify him for the North America event, which is why he's able to compete here in North America. Now, interesting, gateway into Forge for Neeb. This has not been spotted yet. He is going to start this cannon rush, and immediately Namshar cancels that low ground. That's a little bit of a win for Neeb already, and he's able to get the block off. Very nicely done by Neeb. So far, this cannon rush has been executed flawlessly. Next up, cannon. Then gateway. Then you cancel your 2 pylons, and you're good to go, baby dolls. Beautifully done. He's going to block that off with the gateway here, and of course, 2 drones cannot chew their way through that gateway, and wow, Neeb even getting that pylon on the high ground for high ground vision. This is fantastical right now, and Namshar forced to invest in a little static defense. He's going for a 3rd base now, that 3rd hatchery coming down, and he's got a drone. Is he going to go for... No. No. There's no way Namshar goes for a 3rd hatch here, is there? Crazy. Gas steal from Neeb, again, for further vision. Very, very cheeky here. Cannon on the high ground. Shield batteries on the low ground, and it is going to be a robo! Oh, yes, boys and girls. I love this. Very common follow-up to the Gateway, Forge, moderate cannon rush. This is what's going to happen. Neeb's going to get the robo down. He's going to queue up an Immortal. He's going to chrono the absolute crap-a-doodle out of it. The Immortal's going to come out. The Warp Prism's going to follow it up. A 2nd Immortal's going to go. A couple shield batteries going to try and keep those Immortals alive for as long as possible. The goal for Neeb is to get 3, 4, 5 Immortals and win the game. And once you get 3, 4, 5 Immortals, it's almost impossible to defend against. Immediately, we see Namshar going for Lair Tech. There are a couple ways that Namshar can defend against this. Firstly, and most commonly, oh my god, Namshar, you absolute maniac. This is not what I had predicted at all. There are a couple ways that Namshar can defend against this. One is a counter proxy hatchery. We'll come back to that in a minute. Of course, what he wants to do is get roaches and ravagers out. That's one of the most common ways to do it, but with no roach warren down yet, it's much more likely that he's going to be going for a slightly different build. I've seen Scarlet respond to this exact play with swarm hosts before, and you might think, swarm hosts? Really? Absolutely. Absolutely. Swarm hosts can drive this back, but the longer this attack goes unchallenged, the longer that these Immortals and the Warp Prism come out, the better chance Neeb has of winning. Now, let's take a look back at the main base here. Namshar going for the counter, as we said, hatchery in the main base of Neeb. I'm not sure what his intention is here. Maybe get a queen, sneak some lings across the map. He's gonna Nidus. Yeah. This is the only other thing you can do. Nidus, try and get counter pressure done, stay alive for as long as you can, and then sink some lings across the map. The benefit of this the drawback rather of this build, look at the upgrades right now for Neeb. Do you see what's missing? Warp gate research. That's right, warp gate research. Absolutely missing here. So there's no warp gate, which means no units back home for Neeb. A couple lings can sneak into the main and do a lot of damage, but already 2 Immortals out. The Warp Prism here. These Immortals, by the way, have gone uncontested. The shield battery's almost completely full of energy. The Warp Prism not getting fired down by the Queen. As we see the cannon for Neeb going to work on the hatchery, the Nidus finishes up, and Neeb does not see this. Just out of vision range, this is going to be a really, really ugly match. No transfuse energy available on this Queen. No, it doesn't have transfuse energy, so the Ling's going to try and get on top of the Immortals here. The Immortal's just going to get picked up by the Warp Prism here. Neeb's micro is so good. I'm amazed to see Namshar even challenging him here. Yes, the hatchery does go down. He's got a 2nd hatchery here, pretty much saturated with those drones, but the Immortals got the kill they needed. 2nd Immortal push coming out, but the Lings, drone, oh my god, he brought the drones as well. All the probes going to go down for Neeb here. He's got nothing back home to defend against this. Are you kidding me? It's 1 photon cannon at the natural. He's down to 7 probes right now. The Nexus is going to go down. Neeb does not have enough money for another Nexus right now. That means the hatcheries for Namshar are going to keep him from getting completely opposed. This could be really ugly. Oh my god, there it is. No, that is a Nexus for Neeb here. Slightly out of position, but he does get the Nexus down, so I'm incorrect. His main Nexus drops, but he's got another Nexus going down. This is unreal. Absolutely unreal right now. The hatch under duress, and Namshar is going to be forced to give up this hatchet, and Namshar does not have enough money for another hatchery. Namshar doesn't have enough for their hatchery. Namshar can't afford another hatchery, and of course, Neeb can just recall his probes to this Nexus. I think Neeb is in a really good spot right now. Namshar's got to put the drones forward, got to try and get the Lings on top. The probes all sheltering. Look at that, the probes surrounding the shield battery to shelter it. The photon cannon still up. This is a last-ditch effort from Namshar, but he knows with no hatchery, with a potential recall available, the Immortal's back to defend this. Even with only 3 probes left, I still think Neeb is in a good spot here. I'm sorry, Neeb canceled his Nexus on the other side of the map? Neeb canceled his Nexus on the other side of the map. What on earth is happening right now? Yeah, he canceled, but he's got too many Immortals. He's got too many shield batteries, and Neeb in a very, very ugly game number 2 is going to draw us in to a 3rd game in our final series of the day. What on earth was that? Man, that was hideous. from both players. Oh my gosh. Namshar with a very sloppy counter. Neeb with a very sloppy counter. That was so funny. Oh my goodness gracious. That was awful. Oh, Neeb deserved the win. It was so good. Namshar, of course, had little hope after his hatchery went down. And, of course, Neeb able to get that photon cannon down at the hatchery in his own main. So, Neeb keeping a cool head and a keen eye. Just like you would if you ever want to try and take a what is it? You ever try and take on a 3-rail billiard shot? But just as I say, it takes judgment, brains, and maturity to score in a balk line game. I say that any fool can take and build a forge. It is natural. And I call that sloth. And I call that cheese. The first big step on the road to degradé. First, a gateway into forge. Then voids from a... Okay, I'm done. I'm done. That joke was for one person in the chat. You're welcome, everyone. Meredith Wilson, the Music Man. 1963? Somewhere around that. Phenomenal musical. Highly encourage you. If you've not seen the musical, The Music Man, go check it out. It's this delightful, like, old-timey Americana. Love it. Love it. I actually used to live in Davenport, Iowa, which is basically where The Music Man takes place. It takes place in River City, Iowa, which is a fictitious town. But they just crossed the state line from Illinois. So that's obviously Davenport, Iowa. True. True facts. All right. Let's get into game number 3 here for all the marbles. This best of 3 turning into a best of 1 here. Spawning. In the bottom left-hand side, in the red, it is our Pro Toss player from Ting Esports. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Cannon Rusher Neeb. I don't believe this. I don't believe this. And his opponent. In the top right, not seeing this cannon going down. There it is. Now he knows. Oh, Neeb gets the wall off. His opponent currently getting walled in, going hatch gas pool, looking real dire for him. His name is Namshar. Now, this is a really nice start from Neeb. Obviously, able to get the gateway down, able to get the cannon down, able to get the pylon on the low ground. This is really what you want to do in a cannon rush in this situation. You wall off the front to prevent the drones from getting a surround on the photon cannon, and since you've delayed the drones just long enough, the cannon on the low ground is going to get up. And of course, since the drones are not quite able to get on top of the photon cannon, they usually retreat and then start going for the pylon, and it looks like Namshar might be going for something tricksy again here this game. Drones out, the drone pole, trying to get on top of this probe. The probe barely going to stay alive, though. Oh, Neeb, you got to be so careful, buddy. Neeb not sending a second probe, by the way. Just has that one. So 1, 2, 3 spine crawlers going down for Namshar right now. Gateway's going to finish up. We should see a cyber core finishing up pretty soon here to finish the wall off. There it is. Spine's going to finish, and actually, this isn't a bad position for Namshar. The good news is for Neeb that he's kept Namshar on one base for a while. The bad news, though, is that Namshar's going to have these 3 spine crawlers finished up. He needs to get a queen out to spread the creep a little bit, and he's got a roach warren already, so he's really in good shape. Yeah, cancels 2 of them, doesn't need all 3. Nice play by Namshar there. We'll eventually pick down this pylon. That'll depower the photon cannon. Of course, Neeb can repower it if he wants, but most importantly, he's just going to lose the high ground vision there, and this poor cannon is not going to get much done at all. Blam. And now the drone can go down for the natural. Of course, Neeb's natural already about 2/3 of the way done here, about halfway done. Really nicely done here by Neeb. Didn't overcommit at all. And yeah, I think Neeb's in a good place, and Namshar, yeah, really forced to go for some early game pressure now. He's got these roaches out, 3 Ravagers as well. Maybe a bit of an overcommitment from Namshar, but really trapped in his main base for this long. He's got to do something about this. Namshar is going to push across the map with just these 3 Ravagers. Couple Queens coming out back home to support him a little bit, but Neeb should be just fine back home. Ravager Biles, of course, can pick down a photon cannon, but there should be a, shield battery coming down to support it. The wall is finished up, and Neeb's going to go straight for Void Race again. I think Neeb realizes that Namshar panicked a little bit under pressure. Push that panic button, P-A-N-I-K. And, wow, the wall's not complete. That's not good. All three Ravagers do live. That one Ravager rotates to the back here, and Namshar's going to try and get some probe damage done. The probe's going for a surround here. Remember, Ravager fire is not the fastest in the world, so it's going to take a little while for the probes to get probes to get killed here. Corrosive Bile dodges are going to be really key, though. A good Corrosive Bile could pick down that probe number very quickly. Luckily, the Void Ray's out. That's going to drive these Ravagers away, and Namshar shouldn't get too much more done here. 6 probes is a good number, but Neeb is so far ahead in the probe count at this point. It really, I don't think it's enough. Neeb's natural's finished up. He can chrono out probes if he so chooses. Corrosive Biles, nice dodges by Neeb here. Even gets a surround on one of those Ravagers. Oh, man. Very well done. Very well done. Hey, chat, I know a lot of you are probably here from the A stream where there's not a lot of moderation and nobody cares what you're saying. I will say here on the B stream, we do our best to stay real positive and just have a good time talking about the games. So if you don't mind, in the chat, please do stay pretty cool. Don't worry about... don't be talking politics or balance whining or complaining about units or races or anything. We're just here for a chill, fun time to enjoy the games on the B stream. So if you feel the need to be negative, maybe look inside your own soul a little bit and see where that's coming from, rather than exposing other people on the internet to it. Probably not the best choice here on the B stream. So try and stay cool if you can. The B stream maintains a nice, chill, positive vibe for the whole tournament. 5 drones getting picked off here for Neeb. That Oracle getting a lot of damage done. And of course with the Void Ray here, this might actually force a cancel in the third base. The Queen's going to come across. Wow, Namshar's not going to cancel, feeling very confident, but that Queen is going to get nailed to the wall. 1 Queen down, 2nd Queen going to get picked off as well. The Spore Crawler just a little too far back, and that Queen should get... No! 12 health left on the Queen, and the 3rd Queen pops out. Namshar saves it, but this third base is not going to be that lucky. Oracle saving their energy. Obviously want to pick down the Queens if they can. This one Void Ray getting everything done. I'm pretty sure the Void Ray can just rotate back here away from the Queens. Even on creep, I don't think the Queens are going to have quite enough DPS to get here. 40, 30, 20, 10, 9, 10. Void Ray, please. Oh my god. There it is. Okay. Nails down that third base and gets both Queens as well. Oh my god. Neeb could not be playing more efficiently this game. In fact, look at the resources lost tab. A couple of units going down at the beginning here, but beautifully executed by Neeb after coming away from that aggression. 6 drones going down. The drone count still behind the probe count. And oh man, there ain't no Spore in this natural. 8 more drones going down. The Void Ray with a few more shield points now can go up into the main base, tank a few shots from the Spore Crawler, and get a couple more drones. This is great. Great pressure from Neeb here. He's even setting up for a third base behind this. Namshar, of course, forced to rebuild that third base deeply, deeply on the back foot. Now, oh, poor Namshar, just getting his butt handed to him here in game number 2. Immortal's already on the way out. What's he going to go for? Hydralisks? You know what? Shred Hydralisks? Immortals. This is such a good play from Neeb. He knows he's got a couple of Stargate units on the map. He knows that Namshar likes to respond with Hydralisks, and unless Namshar can buy himself a little bit of time, get up to Hydralisk Lurker, I don't think he's going to have much of a chance to defend against this. Again, the game not over by any stretch of the imagination. Namshar's still on 40 drones. He's doing fine. But he's not doing fine, is he? He's in a lot of trouble. Neeb's on 3 bases. Neeb's building 4 more gates. That's going to put his gate count all the way up to 8, which is exactly where a very healthy, growing baby Protoss wants to be. 8 gates, 3 bases, everything looking really good for Neeb here. This Void Ray's like, hey Namshar, remember when I took down your entire third base with 1 unit? Hey, guess what? Guess what? Nah, he's just giving him flashbacks here, trying to spook him a little bit. I love it. Hydralisks are out now, but of course the Oracle's going to come back in, and remember, 2 Oracles can one-shot those drones. The Spore Crawler only able to get a few shots off, forcing another drone pull here, and the drone's getting picked down. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I feel like I'm on that Scrubs podcast where they open every episode with 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 7 drone kills, so that 8 actually a little bit premature, but that's all right. You know what's not premature is Neeb's push across the map. He's on 40 army supply to his opponent's 20. It's a few sad Hydralisks and a couple of Queens out. He's going to see this push coming, but see and do nothing. I mean, what else can he do? Panic build 14 Lings. You know what's going to get rid of these Lings real fast? The Void Ray. The Void Ray gets sniped out actually very quickly, but drones pulled off the line. Really sloppy force fields here from Neeb. The Queen's still able to get through, but the Queen's not able to lend their focus fire onto the Warp Prism. Obviously, the Queens and Hydras want to pick that Warp Prism down. If another round of Warp-ins comes in from Neeb here, 8 Stalkers at a time, things are going from bad to worse here from for Namshar rather. The army supply looks a little bit similar. Like, he's only 17 armies. Look at the army value, guys. That's really where the money is. Army value, and this is just gross here. The Hydra's split up, getting picked off one by one. The Warp Prism completely untouched here, and Neeb not building anything back home, just saving up so he can warp in another huge round of Stalkers, and this is looking really, really rough for Namshar as Neeb begins the push. GG!